Isn't it gorgeous? I hope we have the coldest winter ever.
You could say Rosemary's Baby is a fairy tale set in New York. A tale of a wide-eyed, picture-perfect housewife and a handsome budding actor making a new life for themselves in the Big Apple. But the forces that surround them turn their composed atmosphere into something foreign and sinister. What Roman Polanski lays bare in these characters is the relation between appearances and reality, how the craftiness of a few individuals can corrupt a woman's sense of morality. While the film is brilliantly paced and executed, it's the minor details that enrich the experience, whether it be subtle character quirks or the way a shot is framed to display power dynamics. But the detail I constantly noticed is the way Polanski uses colour through the set and costume design to reflect the oppressive nature of Rosemary's life. It seems benign at first glance, but there's so much more going on subliminally. Using the colour pink, an expressly female colour for the title sequence, setting into subdued aerial shots of the city, evokes a feeling of innocence as we set the stage for our characters. When we're first introduced to Rosemary, she's wearing a white dress, a colour that perfectly illustrates purity, cleanliness and idealism, complemented by her husband Guy, who wears a blue jacket, a colour that personifies the integrity and drive of his career as a budding actor. It's our first impression of the couple, and we as the audience are already subliminally allured by the demeanour.
All the theaters from here.
Oh, Guy, let's take it, please. That living room could be... Oh, please, let's take it.
Okay, darling, we get out of the other lead.
Mia Farrow's performance really gives Rosemary the much needed charm and charisma that binds onto the audience from the get-go, and it's an aspect Polanski carefully controls by cracking her brittle exterior slowly as the film progresses. Throughout the start of the film, when her naive self is on display, the couple's wardrobe consisted mainly of muted pastels. We continue to see the blue-white colour scheme, colours which closely resemble the Virgin Mary. One interesting wardrobe choice is the yellow-white dress Rosemary wears when Minnie Castevet first enters her apartment. The colours represent an egg in my eyes, symbolising creation, or waiting for the precious shell to be broken and sucked dry. Now compare Rosemary's attire to Minnie's. Her garish ornaments, bright makeup and eccentric colour schemes make her seem out of place, almost as if she was placed there with underlying intentions. The first glimpse of saturation comes in the form of roses gifted by Guy, a blood-red vibrance that stands out against the mostly white and tan apartment. By doing this, it again creates subconscious emotions associated with blood without ever showing a drop of blood. Her dark red attire before the culmination scene radiates joy, passion and love, elements that are juxtaposed with the bizarre dream she's about to experience. It also gives the audience a sense of danger, as Polanski draws out her drowsiness as long as he can to hint at something sinister happening to her fragile body. The striking colour choice doesn't lean towards the overtly gothic witchy aesthetic many horror films opt for. Instead, the simplicity of the wardrobe dress fills the audience up with dread in a more effective manner. Now that there's conflict, is Rosemary truly in control of her body? Is she isolated mentally by a loving husband? Her new haircut seems to reflect a wide-eyed self literally being cut off by a social circle.
My God!
It's Vidal Sassoon. It's very in.
What's wrong with you?
Do I look that bad?
The colours in the wardrobe become more pronounced as her inner feelings start to torment her every waking moment. Her maternity clothing droops over her, trying to shield her and the baby against the demonic forces. Even during the funeral for her friend Hutch, her monochrome dress contrasts heavily with the all-black dress code. Taking place before Rosemary finds out about the witchcraft book, it's as if the idea of death has already permeated her body and that she's beyond saving. The cinematography and sound design add to the mysterious aesthetic. The frames limit the space of Rosemary's movements, while the other characters encroach in her living space. The luminosity of their dream home is contrasted with the dinginess of the Castevets, as there is seemingly no natural light coming in through their windows. No matter how lively Rosemary's apartment looks, the windows and bright lights can't prevent the fact that it soon turns into a mini prison for her. This can be seen by the camera work, constantly placing her in narrow corridors and within door frames to further distance herself from the people around her and the audience. Their house may have all the elegant furnishings, but it lacks the heart and vitality of a proper home. The final and most famous scene shows a clear distinction between the pure and corrupt. She walks in, knife in her hand, to this devilish incarnation wearing a light blue dress, harkening back to her wardrobe selection before she was impregnated.
What have you done to it? What have you done to its eyes?
The stability and confidence associated with the colour blue contradicts with the state she's in now. She's defenseless and frazzled as the evil is finally out of her body. The tone then turns into a dark comedy as the congregation gang up on her with these absurd remarks that continuously push her over the edge. The light blues of Rosemary is a stark contrast to the dark hued clothing of the cult members, which feels very off-kilter to further personify the presence of Satan. It's a great scene not only in the way it's written, blocked and directed, but also in the subliminal cues. This film not only acts as a generational horror film, but also a study of the patriarchy. Polanski places us in the point of view of Rosemary so we can fully feel the oppression, losing control over your body, being guarded from the truth, and being betrayed by loved ones are the real life fears. Set in a time when conventional religions were being challenged with newcomers, more specifically the Church of Satan, the evolving of ideologies, outlooks and beliefs in the late 60s filtered through society at a gradual pace, and Polanski represents this doom in the guise of subtlety to make us look deeper and peer into the details.